Hello friends, and welcome to another one of your favorite programs, 3abn Today. And we are in the kitchen. My name is Idalia and I am accompanied by Melody Prettyman. Melody, welcome to the program.
Yes, thank you.
You're like family.
I know.
So whenever people see you, it's like we're family.
Yes.
We see you and we know what we're gonna get. We're gonna get some delicious recipes. So be ready to grab a piece of paper, grab something to write with, because we have some special recipes for you today. Melody, tell us, what are we gonna be preparing?
Well, during this hour, we're gonna have the perfect pesto. I love pesto. We're having the fresh marinara sauce. And this is something you don't have to go to the store and get. Creamy Alfredo, the stuffed mushrooms, tomato, spinach, and basil salad with creamy Italian dressing. It is great. You're gonna love this.
Yes, yes. Well, the important thing about your program, this is to highlight, it's all gluten-free.
Everything we're gonna prepare today is gluten-free. However, it doesn't mean that if you do eat gluten that you can't eat what we're preparing today, because you can use your gluten-free products with it. So I try to make my recipes as versatile as possible.
Okay.
But with all the problems we're having today with people I see constantly, you know, I can't have wheat, I have a sensitivity, and myself having celiac disease, that I have incorporated a lot of the recipes, and all that you're going to see today, that anybody with that kind of intolerance can eat these foods.
Very good. You know, we are not aware as to how many people in this world are gluten intolerant.
I know.
It's like kidney disease. You don't know about it until it hits home. And kidney disease hit our family through my brother. But I've been able to know more about the celiac because our women's ministries had you over for a cooking demonstration one weekend. And it's amazing to know that there is a celiac support system in the Southern Illinois area. And we were able to minister to them and share these recipes that Melody has. So that's another idea for you at home, any churches, and she's willing to go anywhere in the world, right?
Yes.
You and your husband are a wonderful team.
Yes.
And your food is even more wonderful.
Oh, that is a divine gift. That is something God has given me. So I'm just the vessel, but I love to cook, Idalia. I mean,
I understand.
It's hard for me to go to bed at night, and when I am in bed, I'm always thinking of another recipe. It's like almost a curse at times, because I'll get up in the middle of the night thinking, I know what I need to put in that. And I'll run in the kitchen and write it down, and I have to really refrain from, when I'm home, of cooking during the middle of the night.
So what we need next to our beds is a Bible and a notepad.
Absolutely.
Our Bible for our devotionals and our Bible studies, and our notepads for whenever the Lord impresses us with another idea.
And you know how that is, because you love to cook.
I love to cook. If I'm stressed, I could be there from 7 in the morning to 7 at night. I don't have a problem with that.
And even though you're tired, there's just something about it whenever you go into the kitchen and a recipe comes out. And I always pray and ask the Lord to bless my kitchen. And you know, He has never failed me at all. And sometimes I laugh thinking, this is so good. I can't believe you did it.
I know. And He's given you a cookbook. You're working on more cookbooks. So guys, friends at home, family, later on during the program, we're going to talk about this cookbook. But just know it's simply yummy. And we're going to give you the contact information where you can contact Melody and get your copy of the book. And if you are gluten intolerant, these recipes, you can fix them to be.
A lot of the recipes in here are for both too. Now the book that I'm currently working on, almost finished, is every recipe in there you can use gluten-free or non-gluten.
Okay.
And I've got others. So I have over 300 recipes that I've compiled and I need to put together in my books.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, let's get started with the first recipe. And the first recipe for today is perfect pesto.
Okay. And I can read that for you.
Thank you.
You will need 1 large bunch of basil, and that's chopped. And of course, we want fresh basil. We want 3 medium cloves of garlic, 1/3 cup of pine nuts or walnuts, 3/4 cup of prepared Parmesan-style cheese, 1/4 cup of olive oil, a 1/2 teaspoon of salt, and that is optional.
Wow, it seems like a very simple recipe.
It is, and I want to let you know that today we are using walnuts. You know, pine nuts can be very expensive. The cheapest I found them were like $29 for a small container, and there could be allergies with the pine nuts over more of your walnuts. So even though you might want pesto and think, oh, I can't have that, that's a recipe that calls more for pine nuts, you can use any nut, but today we're using walnuts, which is much more economical.
Definitely. In today's, we all know the financial situation we have here in the world. So just knowing the options, the substitutes really does help.
It really does. I use olive oil. You can even use another type of oil. I like it better. I've even got 4 cloves of garlic today. Hey, garlic is your friend. I know other people might not think so, but it is your
natural
friend.
Antibiotic, right?
Yes, it is. And we're going to use this in the food processor today. So we're, you can chop this. I think it tastes a little bit better when you do chop it, but we're going to use the food processor.
Perfect.
So remember, if you don't have a food processor, you can still chop and do it.
This is a dump it recipe, right?
Yes.
Okay.
We're going to put the basil in. This is our basil.
We have our basil.
And then next we're going to put our garlic.
Garlic. Yes. What would we do with
and our walnuts? I went ahead and chopped them up, but we're going to put them in. You can put them in whole. You don't have to chop them first.
Okay.
Your olive oil.
My oil.
And you could put these in however. I mean, it doesn't matter. You're just going to dump them in and pour them. And that's the prepared Parmesan cheese.
And this recipe?
This recipe is in the cookbook, and I've demonstrated it here before, and it will be up on the website. We're not going to do that one today, but you will be able to get that one on the website.
Very good. So I just whiz it away?
Just whiz it away.
Okay, perfect.
And let's put this down inside of it and whiz that in there too, our salt.
And let's put our salt. And what kind of salt is this?
I use the real salt. It is mined in Utah. It has the minerals. So for some people that have high blood pressure, buying the regular salt at the store is stripped of its minerals, so it could elevate the blood pressure just by having the salt without the minerals. God intended for us to have the minerals with our salt.
That's right. That's right. Okay, let's whisk this a little bit more. All right. Very simple. Oh, it smells so good. Very good. That fresh basil, the fresh garlic.
And you know, because we're here on television, of course, the pasta's already ready. But what I really like to do is take the pasta, any type of pasta. Now what you're seeing here is like a rigatoni, but this is, or a penne, it is a gluten-free, which is brown rice. It's a whole grain. If you're on a diet, like a Weight Watchers or whatever diet you're on, you know, this would qualify as a whole grain. And you can use it here. I'm going to show you just a little bit later. We're going to do something. We're going to put this over and make a pizza. We can put it on bread and make a spread. It is so good. It's so versatile. And you can just spoon this on your pasta. You can.
That looks really good.
Oh, it does. And look at it's fresh.
My mouth is watery.
It's fresh. Look at that. Oh, it tastes so good.
Very nice. And the thing about it is that it's versatile. You can use it in different ways, as you mentioned. You can put it on pizza, make some nice garlic bread style, and put it on your pasta. Very good. And how long would this keep for?
You know, I would say, you know, with the garlic in there and the oil, it's going to keep in your refrigerator for a week or so. It's never lasted in my house for a day, so I'm not, you know, for myself, and I doubt if it would last in anybody's house, seriously.
It won't last in my house because my kids prefer, you know, something like this.
Yes, and if you don't like a lot of garlic, just back off the garlic, you know, make it your own.
Yeah, very good. Well, let's go to the next recipe.
Yes, let's do that.
What are we going to prepare
We're
now?
going to have the fresh marinara sauce.
Fresh marinara sauce. And for this, we're going to need 6 to 8 Roma tomatoes, diced, 1 large bunch of fresh basil, diced, 4 cloves of garlic, minced, 1 medium red onion, diced, 1 medium bell pepper, diced, 6 to 8 fresh mushrooms sliced, and 1 cup of natural olives diced, and you want to reserve the juice, okay? You will also need 1/4 cup of fresh parsley diced, 1 to 2 tablespoons of terminato sugar, 1 to 2 tablespoons of olive oil, which is optional, 1/2 cup of prepared Parmesan-style cheese, and salt to taste. And we use a special salt because it's best for us, right?
Yes, we do.
And that salt is with minerals. Am I learning, teacher?
Yes.
You're my professor.
Yes, I like the real salt. You know, the best is the Himalayan. It's the purest, but the real salt is much more economical, and it has the minerals as well.
Very good. Well, this is a very colorful recipe.
Rainbow.
And it's wonderful to be able to make your own sauces at home, because if we read the labels, I mean, there are some ingredients that are on the label, I don't know what it is, but knowing what you are eating does help you just to have better health and peace of mind, and also you are not going to hurt yourself. You know, it's good to know what we're eating.
It is, and the sodium content, when you turn the back over and you read that nutritional fact panel, the sodium and the fat content, even in your spaghetti sauces, and then a lot of them will say natural flavors, that if you're somebody who is eliminating meat totally from your diet, you know, vegan, vegetarian, then their natural meat is natural. So you can have a lot of ingredients in there that aren't listed the way they do with the manufacturing that you're not aware of. So it's really something you always want to turn over the back and read the nutritional fact panel. But once you get through the produce aisle, you don't have to worry about the nutritional fact panel, because it's there. God created it that way. We have everything we need.
Amen. That's right.
So in this, and for some people who might be in an area where it's not as accessible to get out there and actually buy these things already prepared, you know, you can use these, and you can change up, you know, my recipes, and what I try to do is make them your recipes, use what you want to do, make them versatile.
Yes. One quick question before we get started. I'd like to know, once I make this sauce at home, can I can it and keep it?
Sure you can. I do this all the time. I freeze it.
Oh, freeze it.
I can put them in the gallon bags or in a container, and I can freeze this sauce.
Great.
Because I like to make things up in quantities, because even though I cook because it's pleasure, I also like to be in the kitchen when I have to cook the shortest time possible. So what I'll do is I'll make it much in advance. But you know, I have 2 children married, and so I have 2 daughters too now, and a granddaughter. There's never food left over in the house.
But Melody, it's really good to have quantities like that and freeze them, even for potluck. If something comes up, a family in need, you have all this healthy food already prepared for your own family and for whoever's in need.
Say you had somebody over and you wanted a dipping sauce, you could take this out and you can warm it up and have some breads and use it as something until you're getting the food prepared. So here's an appetizer. You can make this with pizza sauce. You know, this is a marinara sauce, so there's a lot of different, you know, your eggplant parmesan. This is a sauce that's very versatile.
Very good, very good. Well, show us how to do it.
Let's get started. Now, the juice here, and I'm going to explain that when you hand that to me. Whenever I buy the olives, and whenever I first started buying them, Lindsay was the product that was out there, but now most all the stores have this natural ripe olive where they don't put the chemical in there to turn it black. So the olive comes off the tree green with little spots. That means it's great, it's ripe. So I use that brine, and that way I don't have to put as much salt in there, but it's a good flavor from that olive. And then from this point, we're going to put some bell peppers, and I put in there green or red. You know, I chopped up several here, and I wanted my rainbow, so why not use these colors? If you want to use just one type of pepper, you can. Let's do some onions here.
Oh, yes. So you have the red onions. You didn't use the regular
I love the red. I love the red. The red are my favorite.
Okay. Well, everything is my favorite that you make because it's so delicious. And I'm not just saying that either.
Well, I cook with a lot of seasoning, and you'll find that I've had people say, Melody, why does your stuff taste so much better? And I'll say, well, how much onion are you putting in there?
And garlic.
Onion
Here's
and garlic.
your garlic.
Oh, yeah. There's my garlic. And, you know, again, if you don't like garlic, don't put so much of it in there.
Right.
So I'm just going to add this to a fresh.
Oh, parsley.
Fresh parsley. You know, grow this in your home. Basil.
Yes.
You know, I had a hard time looking for some basil this time of year, and the way my husband and I travel, I can't grow it.
Right.
I'm not home to take care of it. But it's expensive, but it's well worth it. But you know, buy a plant in the store and put it in your window, pick the pieces off, water it, and use that continuously. Let's put in the green olives.
Okay.
Let's use the green ones, yes.
So the olives don't grow black on the trees.
No. See the color of them?
Yes. So that is the natural state of the olives. So now we know, this is, you're the teacher, we're learning from Melody. The olives grow green, and how did I make them black then?
We don't know. It's actually a type of an acid that they put in there to turn that black. And if you taste this and you taste that,
Oh, you
you
can tell the
automatically
difference.
can tell the difference in the
Yes.
taste of them. I have my whole family now hooked on these olives, so we rarely use the black ones, more
Very
for
good.
color.
Yes,
Yeah.
contrast. That's right.
yes.
My children were raised with olive fingers, you know, fingernails.
Oh, yes.
They would put those jumbo olives in there.
I have to open up 2 cans of
Fingertips.
olives, one for us and one for my
For the
granddaughter.
grandkids.
Yeah. And we're going to put the salt,
Okay.
and let's put the basil.
Okay.
And this is oregano. Here's our fresh basil that was chopped.
So, and we have oregano.
Oregano.
Here. Smells so good already.
I know. Smell
Well,
those
it's too bad we don't
flavors.
have smell-o-vision because
know.
it
We
really
need
smells
that.
really good. Look at those colors. That is appetizing.
Now at
Beautiful.
this point, you know, I know I've got some extra here. I do that on purpose. But at this point, I would put the lid on this. I would let these flavors
Simmer.
here simmer.
Right.
And they're going to simmer and just marry, and they're going to get tender. Once that's happened, like maybe 10 minutes,
Okay.
I would take my lid off,
Okay.
and then we are going to dump this
The
big
tomatoes?
bowl of tomatoes. Now, I have used Romas.
Right.
This time of year, they're not as nice and pretty as they are other times of year, so your sauce might come out a little more yellow if you're using the Romas that aren't as ripe.
Right.
And I'm going to dash just a little bit of olive oil, but you know what? You don't have to. That's a fat. It's an essential fat, but it's better if you didn't want it. You don't have to.
That's right.
I'm going to let this set there and just simmer for 15, 20 minutes.
Okay.
On medium heat.
Very good.
This is a tomato puree.
Okay.
You do not have to put this in here. But if these tomatoes aren't as ripe as you want them and that color isn't the bright red,
Right.
then you could put just a little bit of that in there.
You mean to say I don't need the food coloring in it? I can actually use
No.
the tomato paste.
No, and I'll tell you something
Or
else I
puree.
use. This is a secret.
Okay, tell
I'm
me the
gonna
secret.
tell you
Just
guys.
tell me.
I'm going to tell.
Just tell me,
Only
don't
you.
tell anybody else.
I like to take some carrots and put them in my Vitamix, and I juice these carrots up.
Nice.
And I will put that in here, and that rich carrot juice without olive oil. People actually have thought I put oil in there and say, no, it's oil, because it's so rich and thick, and it has like a film it gets over the top like oil. But it's
wow.
not, it's the
It's the
carrots.
carrots.
Yes.
Incredible.
Look at the beta carotene. Look at all the wonderful nutrients and
That's right.
phytochemicals we're getting from God's food.
Amen. Wow, this is wonderful. So we're going to let this simmer for about 10, 15 minutes, and then we are going to, what's the next step after that? Is that when we put the Parmesan and all that?
That's when we would take the Parmesan cheese, and let's take the turbinado.
Yes.
You know, some people might say, what is turbinado? I've never heard that.
Exactly.
It's a type of a sugar you can
It almost
see.
sounds like a tornado.
I know, but see, they're bigger crystals. It doesn't have the refining process like your white sugar does.
Right.
And you can actually, it goes by the name of turbinado or Florida cane crystals.
Okay.
And I found them at Walmart.
Yes, praise the
many,
Lord, it's
many, many
everywhere.
stores out there that you can find it. And you know, whenever you buy your spaghetti sauce, your marinara sauces at the store, they have a lot of sugar. You would be shocked at the amount of sugar that's in them.
Right.
So
You're
this
so
is
right.
quite lower
Oh, look at that.
than what you would normally get at the store. And
I just want to grab some lasagna too and put that in there.
do you know, I could take this right here,
Yeah.
even before it's went into my sauce, and I can eat this at this state
Yeah.
with it just warm. I love it like this. And I'm
Very
going to go
nice.
ahead and put this Parmesan cheese in here. Let's just sprinkle a
Now
little.
this Parmesan recipe, is it in your book?
It is in the Simply Yummy cookbook.
Simply Yummy.
And I've demonstrated it here before. We're not going to do it today, but the recipe will be up on the website.
Okay.
I've had so many people that's tasted this telling me, I cannot believe I finally found a vegan Parmesan cheese that I can eat.
Wow.
I had bought one for probably a year before I did one at the store. And I looked at the back one day and I couldn't read all the ingredients, and I thought, I'm not eating this. And I said, Lord, I need a recipe. And so this is
And
the
the
one
Lord
he gave
has
me.
promised to give us the desires of our hearts, and
Yes.
He gave you that recipe
Yes,
to
He
share
did.
with His people.
He
Wow, wonderful. Okay, so once we have the sauce, do you put it in the blender? What?
No, this is how, by setting here and just simmering and simmering this, this is how it's going to break down.
Okay.
You can see some of the chunks of the the olive in here, and you'll have some chunks of tomato, but see, I can use this in my lasagna. I can use this sauce for anything.
Wonderful.
And you could just pour some over. This is an angel hair pasta that is made from brown rice.
Ooh.
So again, this is gluten-free.
You know, when you think about being, if I went to the doctor and he tells me, well, you are gluten intolerant, my whole world would sink in, Melody. Because what would I eat?
You know, I really, this was
good.
right when I had changed my diet. And for some people that might not know me, you know, I still have a lot of weight to lose, but I've lost over 60 pounds.
Praise the Lord.
And it wasn't because I went on a particular diet. I just changed to God's more natural food and left out the dairy in my diet. I was just shocked when I found out what the transition was and how much better I felt. You know, I'm medication free. I'm in my late 50s, and I no longer take the heart medication I took for over 22 years.
Incredible.
And I know it's because of the way I changed my diet. So all these foods are so great, but then I got hit with this celiac disease, and I'm thinking, okay, Lord, I'm trying to eat the way you want me to. I've changed my life. What am I going to do now?
That's right.
And you know, I said, I'm not going to let Satan do this to me. God, I have this disease for a reason, and I know he gave it to me to help somebody else, or permitted me to have it.
That's right.
To help other people, and there's so many people I've helped with this disease.
That's right, that's right. Well, in our very own congregation, we have people that are gluten intolerant, and it's wonderful to be able to minister to them too. Because it's easy to invite everyone over for lunch on a Sabbath afternoon or dinner anytime, but not everyone can eat everything. So anyhow, I just hope and pray that you take advantage of these special recipes to minister to those around you. If you know anyone that needs this type of recipes, just download the recipes and just take it to them and encourage them to watch 3ABN, because we do share a variety of cooking programs, gluten intolerant recipes, right? Okay, very good. Well, how about if we get to the next recipe?
Yes, we're going to go to our Alfredo sauce.
This
is the creamy Alfredo sauce. We're going to use 1 cup of raw cashews, and those cashews are rinsed. A ½ tablespoon of salt, and that is optional. 1 tablespoon of onion powder, 4 cups of water, 3 tablespoons of arrowroot powder, 1 tablespoon of McKay's vegan chicken style seasoning, 1 to 1½ cup of prepared Parmesan style cheese, your favorite pasta, and some fresh basil for garnish.
Well, Melody, the creamy Alfredo sauce is one that is going to make a hit in my home, because my children love Alfredo sauce. So I've not come up with a healthy version of it. So thank you very much. I'm excited already. We've done a couple of steps already, just for the sake of time.
Yes, because the cashews really need to be creamy. So if we would have blended them just enough to, you know, even for people to see, you still have that little grittiness, and I don't like. You don't have to have a Vitamix. That's what we're using here today. However, whatever blender you're using, just let it go for a long time. You want these nuts creamy. It makes a world of difference in your Alfredo sauce.
That's right. And when you put the nuts in, you just put a little bit of water, just enough to
blend them.
Exactly. Okay, very good. So what do we do next?
We're going to add the salt.
Is this a dump it recipe?
Yeah. All of
Everything
mine are
goes
pretty much
in the blender? Oh, wonderful.
In the blender, there is
what's this?
That is your onion powder.
Onion powder.
Yes, arrowroot powder, because we need a thickener.
Arrowroot, why not cornstarch?
You could use that too.
Oh, I
use arrowroot powder because it doesn't break down in extreme temperatures like cornstarch does.
Very good. I didn't know that. I never heard that. This is the chicken seasoning?
That's your chicken seasoning.
Okay.
And at this point, you're going to blend it.
Blend it.
You're going to blend it here.
Okay. So I have
Start out a little low.
Yes. Let's go low.
Yeah, see, it cuts so much time down doing that.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
And then I'm going to turn the stove on here.
Blender. Just had to say that. I love that red.
And then we're just going to pour that in here.
Okay, just pour it. Do you have to whisk it right away? Because
I do. Let me tell you about the arrowroot or the cornstarch, whichever one you're using.
Okay.
Whenever you put it in a pan and you turn the fire on and you walk away for a few minutes to grab something, at that point, you could have already scorched it. It's that fast because your arrowroot or your cornstarch is going to go directly to the bottom of that pan.
Yes.
And so it'll happen. And it doesn't really take it long to thicken up. And I always just start pouring in my water.
Okay. So 4 cups of water for this recipe.
If you want yours thicker, you want it thinner, you know, everybody's going to have their own texture that they like on that, or their thickness, so that just depends on you.
Okay.
And
I was just thinking that this would be good over baked potatoes too.
well, absolutely.
Oh, girl.
Now, I'll tell you, I eliminate the chicken seasoning for this, and this is our white gravy for biscuits and gravy.
Oh, perfect.
And of course, I don't put the Parmesan cheese in here. And whenever you have a little 3.5-year-old that spends the night with you and looks at you and says, "Oh, Grandma, my stomach says I want biscuits and gravy," she loves this gravy. And she's a little bitty thing, but boy, she can eat her weight in this gravy right here.
Wonderful. That's very good. They, you know, your grandchildren love the healthy cooking.
Oh,
you know, the healthy
she does.
foods, healthy choices. And that is encouraging when grandparents and parents work together to give them what is best for them. Sometimes we want to spoil the children, you know, grandparents want to spoil the grandkids, or the uncles or aunts want to spoil the children by giving them the candies or whatever they don't get at home. But it really is a unity, a family responsibility that we all carry to give them what is very best for them. So I encourage you to support whoever is just pulling forward for the best of the health for your children and your family.
You know, whenever we have a meal at home, whether it's breakfast, lunch, or dinner, and she's there, I don't, I mean, I love desserts like everybody else. I have to refrain from as much as possible, but we have special days, and I make a lot of desserts. And it's kind of funny because I can put a dessert on the table, and if I put fruit, she will go to that fruit every time. Every time, because she has been raised to eat fruit, and she loves her yummy mango and her, and you know the inspiration for my cookbook.
Yes.
And I've told people this came from my 3.5-year-old granddaughter. Her name's Alexa Jade. And from a little child, you know, just much over a year when she was talking, everything she'd eat to Grandma, she'd say, "Oh, Grandma, yum, yummy." and so that was my inspiration, because everything she ate, and I mean, this child loves tofu, this kind of gravy, the pancakes, nothing that has meat or dairy in it, she loves it.
Very good, very good.
See how it's already thickening up here, Idalia?
Yes. Well, you know, the key to healthy cooking is also putting good flavoring in the foods. A lot of times we're disappointed in what we taste because we don't know how to season it. So
we don't.
We have to really, the kitchen is a laboratory. You experiment and experiment and get some flavor in that food.
Look how it's already thickening up here.
It's beautiful. Very nice.
It's getting some thickness to it. I'm going to put a little bit, and I'm going to let you, Idalia, put some of this, probably not all of it right now. I'm hoping the arrowroot powder doesn't taste gritty. I want you to taste this and really tell me what you think.
I know what I think already. But yes, I'm going to have to.
Okay.
Very good. So this is the Parmesan. I spilled it here.
Yes, this is the Parmesan style cheese, and you would be shocked at how simple and the few ingredients that's in this Parmesan style cheese. But I mean, look
at that. Okay, Melody, I'm just gonna have to
try it.
Make sure that it's good. And we need to make sure that our audience are getting some good stuff.
I think so.
Very good.
Flavor.
I think I need another taste.
Okay.
I can't figure out.
What about this spoon? Oh, yes, perfect.
No.
Do you remember the time I was here with Mark and we had these big utensils? This is a Mark spoon.
Very good. So this has no egg whites. No
cream.
No cream. No sugars.
No, and the fat that's in here is from the cashew. It's an essential fat.
Okay.
So that's no butter, no oil.
Very good.
I mean, you can add those things if you need them in your diet. I just don't feel like we have
Melody,
to.
this is yummy. Like your granddaughter tells you. Okay, so we simply just put the Alfredo sauce over our pasta. And earlier in the program, we showed that our menu. So this is over penne pasta.
Yeah, and this again is a brown rice pasta, which
good.
you can use a whole wheat. There's corn, there's quinoa. There are so many different varieties of these pastas out there now for anybody who's suffering with some of these allergies that you can get.
So if you've been diagnosed with some allergies, we're here to help you. Don't think that you're by yourself. First of all, the Lord is with you. The Lord has provided, and we are just here to help you out. If you want more recipes that we have presented today here, you can go to our website, download the recipes, or just get a hold of Melody. Bring her to your church. Bring her to your community.
I have a lot of people that call me after some of the programs and tell me of certain things, and I'll say, I'm not quite sure. I haven't made that recipe yet, but give me a few days, or where because I'm on the road sometimes 6-8 months at a time.
Right.
And so if they've written me something in the mail, I might not even know that they've written something to my address until I get back home, unless they've contacted me by phone or email. And I will play around with it, call them and say, guess what? I think I found a way to do this recipe to get around your allergies. Some are soy allergies, you know. So I try the best I can. I just pray about it and let God bring it to me.
Amen, amen. Well, Melody, let's keep cooking.
Yes, let's do.
What's the next recipe?
The next recipe that we have, awesome stuffed mushrooms.
One of my favorite, Melody. I'm glad we're making this. Okay, 3 green onions finely diced, 3 cloves of garlic minced, 1 tablespoon of olive oil, 1 cup of bread crumbs, 1/4 cup of prepared Parmesan-style cheese, 1/2 cup of mushroom broth, 1 teaspoon of onion powder. We will also need 1 tablespoon of McKay's vegan chicken style seasoning, 1 teaspoon of Italian seasoning, 2 to 3 tablespoons of olive oil. Okay, we're making some stuffed mushrooms. This is not just any ordinary stuffed mushroom recipe. This is the awesome, right? Stuffed mushroom recipe.
That's because when I made it, that's what my husband said. These aren't just stuffed mushrooms, these are awesome.
And I echo that. I testify to that they are awesome.
They are good. God is so good.
Amen. So these mushrooms, what kind of mushrooms they are? And
you know, these are just your regular mushrooms that you can buy in any grocery store, fresh in the produce. And they have the little stems on them. And all I do is just take that stem and pull back on it, either side. And if it doesn't come out, then I would even take the end of a spoon and just kind of hollow it out. And you can see that instead of having the tips on the mushrooms, they're hollow. And because I want to stuff them.
Yes. That's
so,
right.
I mean, it's so simple.
Yes.
And I rinse them off really good, and then I get them ready to prepare. So it's a very simple process.
So that's the first step that we're doing. We're just carving the, if you would,
the mushrooms.
The mushrooms, gutting them. Okay, so now for the stuffing.
For the stuffing, let's do our breadcrumbs.
Breadcrumbs.
Right here. Now, these are not just any breadcrumbs. This is the millet and rice bread, and I'll talk a little bit about that today from D-Land Bakery. Of course, they are a wheat-free product, but in the past, they have not been gluten-free. As of February the 1st of this year, they will be 100% gluten-free. Their products are amazing, and you can see the light and fluffiness. It's not like your regular gluten-free breads. They're amazing. It doesn't matter where you live. They will ship them to you. So this is the chicken style seasoning here.
And the Italian seasoning was
the Italian seasoning as well. Let's go ahead and put some onion powder and garlic.
So we've already added all the dry ingredients. Not that it matters, right?
It doesn't really matter. You can put this in any way you want to. Now, for those faint people who don't like a lot of garlic, which is so good for your blood pressure and for your heart, you know, use this seasoning. It's wonderful. And green onions. Oh, yes. You cannot get enough. This is your flavor.
Very good. And so you have 1 tablespoon of olive oil.
And that is reserved for what we're going to use at the end. I'll show you that. Now, this is what we call our mushroom broth. And I looked for it in the store and couldn't find any, so you can improvise. And what I did is I took some water, a little bit of, you could use Bragg's liquid amino, I did a little bit of chicken style seasoning, the McKay's, and my water, and that gave it its brown color there. So if you can't find the mushroom flavoring, just whatever you can find. you just want some kind of instead of just water, I want a seasoning in here. Yeah. So that's all that is. It's just, and pour that in.
Boy, this is a simple recipe, but very delicious.
You might want to double it. My husband, when we were preparing this last night, and I have to tell you, Idalia, I did a cooking seminar when I was in South Bend, Indiana.
Yes.
And I pick up family everywhere I go. Good. Everywhere I go, I have family, and I pick them up. And some wonderful people, Brenda and Mark and Carmela, they came all the way down here to help me.
Wow.
And so
they're brave people.
They loved it. And how wonderful it is that they came here to help me in the preparation before, you know. There's a lot to prep.
Yes.
And my husband came in, because he was my run to and fro. He was getting things that I'd forget, and he'd run back and grab them. But he hovered over these like a helicopter. And I kept saying, quit hovering over those mushrooms. And Brenda and I got tickled, because every time we turned around, he was over there getting another mushroom.
So. See, if I would have been with the group, you know, you would have ended probably with just 2 mushrooms to display.
Well, I cooked quite a few. I think I doubled the recipe because I knew he was going to come in.
It was
wonderful. I'm going to put some gloves on. If you've got some there,
I
want to help stuff these?
Oh, yes,
they're so simple.
And so delicious.
Yes.
It's very good. And, you know, we're always looking for something different to bring to potluck. Okay, our church here in Thompsonville, we have potluck every Sabbath. So you get tired of the same old thing, you know, being burritos or haystacks or what have you. And it's just nice to have a simple recipe to try and share with our people in the church. So this is for your family at home, your neighborhood, and also your congregation too. So.
What is good about it is the sauces that we made today.
Yes.
Like the marinara and the Alfredo. You can put that down and serve it with one of those sauces too.
Ooh,
but you don't have to. I mean, they taste so great by themselves. You don't have to.
That's right.
I just get a little bit, and I am actually going to just mound this up and stuff it like you would. Oh, I don't know, not a turkey, but I'm just going to cover the top of my mushroom and place it into my cooking dish.
Very good. Okay, so
look at this.
We bake this for how long?
I bake this usually for about
This one's mine. Sorry to interrupt you, but this is the biggest one, so this one's mine.
25 to 30 minutes. Every oven it varies on the temperature, you know, of your oven. I put it on 350. And I want my mushrooms to get brown like that you see here. So that's all I want them to do is get golden brown. The onions are going to cook in there. These are green onions, so they'll cook faster. You know, they're a more delicate onion.
Yes. Very good. So how did you come up with this recipe?
Well, you know, years ago, my husband and I, we went out to the Olive Garden for our anniversary, and it was on the menu. I never asked what was on there. I was a vegetarian, but I was not a whole vegetarian. And he ordered some for me, and they were so good, and I asked him what was in them, and they said crab meat.
Crab meat?
Crab meat. I thought I was going to die. I thought, Lord, please forgive me. I didn't know what was in there.
Wow.
And I thought they were so good, and I kept thinking, what could I do to make something that was similar to that? And because I was really sick at my stomach after that, because not eating meat, I didn't want anything like that.
Right.
And I come home, and I thought about it for years. Really, I thought about it for years. And one day, I went into the kitchen, and I thought, okay, the gluten-free bread, I've got my seasoning. Lord, what can I put in here? And little things would just come, and this was it. This was a one-time try recipe. I tried it one time.
Wonderful.
Wasted no ingredients. And you know, I've went into the kitchen before and just ran in there to cook something, and it was okay, but not the best. And I thought, I forgot to pray. And I notice every time I pray and I ask God to bless my kitchen, He has always done it.
Oh, yours are nice and firm. I should have squeezed mine like that with your hand. Well,
look how beautiful they are.
I'm just learning, teacher.
And if you have any left over, you do not want to discard it.
Of course not.
So I always save a little place in my dish there that I would just put it aside.
And just let it golden up.
And if you have somebody that hovers in your kitchen after you've cooked something, then you can just guarantee that will not be
gone.
There. That's going to be gone. And I'm the same way. When I make something like this for potluck, I will triple one for my husband, and then the other 2 for potluck. So, and I love that.
Well, you know, he works so hard in the kitchen with you.
He does.
You know, so it's very good. And I'm so glad you mentioned him because if it weren't for our spouses supporting the ministry, you know, it's not the same. Just having the same load together, having your prayers at home, your support. Thank you, because our families do work together, and our families long to serve the Lord. And this is the way the Lord has called us to minister to you through the foods, because there are so many illnesses out there, and these recipes are just bringing healthy choices to our tables.
They are, and you know, God pulled me out of corporate America.
Yes.
And I had a great job, a great paying job. A lot of people say, oh, I don't make enough money. I never complained about that.
Wow.
And when I left corporate America and went into God's ministry, you know, we are totally dependent on God. Now, my husband is self-employed. He owns his own business.
Yes.
And at first we thought this was something I was going to have to do alone. And I prayed my husband right into this work with me. And the amazing thing is when we're gone together, sometimes 2 or 3 months at a time, there's very few calls for his business. As soon as we get home, the floodgates open and people call. Now
that's the two-hander. Praise the Lord. Amen.
And it happens every time.
Amen. The Lord just takes care of all of us.
He does.
And all of our needs. Well, Melody, I'm anxious to put these in the oven and get to eating them. So let's go to the next recipe.
Let's do that. We're going to have our creamy Italian dressing or marinade.
Very good.
For this recipe, you will need a 1/2 cup of veggies, 1/2 cup fresh lemon juice, 1/4 cup of olive oil, 1/3 cup of prepared Parmesan-style cheese, 2 teaspoons of Italian seasoning, 1 teaspoon of parsley flakes, 2 cloves of garlic finely diced. You'll also need 1 teaspoon of garlic powder, 1½ teaspoon of onion powder, 1 teaspoon of salt or to taste, and 1 tablespoon of Florida crystals.
Well, my children love dressing. Sometimes I ask them, you want salad with that dressing? You know, because we tend to put too much salad dressing into our salads. So this salad dressing in particular is...
You know, I've put together a lot of salad dressings when I'm doing my seminars out there, and all my seminars are plant-based. So when I have a lot of people who are coming in from the community and it's their first known information about plant-based diets, you know, first thing they have problems with is discarding the cheese and the salad dressing. They're like, I love salad, but what am I going to put on it? And God really impressed me with some really good dressings. They don't have to go into overabundance of them, but they like something on their salad.
That's right.
So this is one of those that I use, and this is also great. If you took tofu and all your diced veggies and made kebabs, and you poured this over and you marinated it, and then you grilled it in the oven. So this is very versatile.
Sounds
We need to use it for more than one
Are we making
thing.
that today too?
I should have. We'll make that on another show.
Don't worry, you can make it tonight for me. It's okay, no problem. I'll be over for dinner.
And this is another one of those recipes
It's a dump it.
that is we're going to dump it in.
Yes.
We're going to mix it up.
Yes.
And it's ready to go.
Okay, so I have the veggies. The veggies is a mayonnaise.
It is. It's a vegan mayonnaise. Very good product. You can use any kind of soy mayonnaise. This is my favorite.
Okay.
Outside of my own homemade.
Oh.
So this is one I see most often in the stores.
Okay. Yes. Is more accessible for our viewers.
And if you haven't noticed, in my recipes, you'll see a lot of redundant ingredients. A lot.
Yes.
Because why have so many different ingredients? You can incorporate them and make different flavors and have different recipes in your home.
That's right.
It's all about money, and it's all about healthy foods.
The kitchen is a laboratory. It's an experiment, you know.
Sure is.
You just have to, that was the garlic powder. We have garlic and garlic powder. This
Onion
is
powder.
onion powder. And the salt.
The good salt.
All minerals. Okay.
And your turbinado.
Turbinado.
Or Florida cane crystals. You can call it whatever you want.
So we will whisk this together. Okay. So we put this over a variety of dishes. We can do it with the tofu kebabs.
Oh, this is a great marinade. I mean, this is something that you can use to marinate like your mushrooms and your bell peppers, your onions and your cubed tofu, and then you make a kebab out of them. It's really good. You can use this as an Italian dipping sauce. You can use it just like we're going to in another recipe.
I'm telling you, this could be put into your salad really good too.
Oh, it can. I know you're going to try that.
I know I do. My mouth is watery here. Okay, guys.
And you know, this, again, you know, people struggle so much because they want flavor on their salads, just something.
This is very good.
You like
I want more. Very, very good.
And simple. You don't need machinery. All you need is a whisk or a spoon or a fork and just
a good appetite.
Dump it and stir it up there, and you can. Now this will thicken because it's got that Parmesan style cheese in there, and it'll thicken up. So it's really good as a dip. So if you want it thinner, just put a little bit more of your lemon juice in there.
Yeah, very good.
Wonderful.
I just cannot stress it enough. That is very, very delicious, guys.
Very simple.
You got to try that at home. Definitely. Okay, girl, let's get it done.
Let's do this next recipe.
The next recipe we've got for you is
the tomato, spinach, and basil salad.
And for this salad, we're going to need 4 to 5 tomatoes. These are Roma tomatoes, quartered, 1 medium onion, sliced, half a pound of fresh spinach, diced, 1 cup of fresh basil, diced, 1 English cucumber, diced, and half a cup of prepared creamy Italian dressing. Melody, let's get this done.
Let's do it.
This is beautiful.
I am going to, right now, grab some of this fresh spinach. Look at how green. This
beautiful.
We need this in our diet.
That's right.
If you want to take that basil.
The greener, the better.
Yeah, let's just start dicing. And I like to slice into it.
Okay.
Do it however you want to, though. You can even do it whole. And I've already got the tomatoes. We've already got those diced up.
Oh, this smells so good.
If you could just smell that basil.
Anybody would think that you're doing so much in the kitchen and you're just really cutting basil.
You're just cutting basil.
Yeah, this is wonderful. It makes a difference when we use the fresh seasonings, you know?
Oh, all the difference. I've tried the dried. When I have to, I'll use them, but I love to do it this way.
Okay.
My hands are clean.
Mine too, promise. Well, very
it's ready to go in.
Oh, wow. Smells very good. Okay, so we're gonna get the basil, the spinach, the tomatoes. We have the cucumbers.
And I just kind of slice those. You can slice however
it's like a
you
julienne,
want.
you know, cut. Very good.
I like
very
English
hearty
cucumbers because they don't have as much water in them.
Yes.
So without the seeds.
I'm gonna grab a towel real quick. Okay, so we're just gonna mix this up.
Yes.
Okay.
And we're gonna put some of those beautiful red onions. Now, if I dare say anybody who doesn't like onions, but if you don't, then you just don't have to put them in. But again, I like to use the red ones.
I like the red ones too. It brings the color. It's just different, you know. I like to use the green onions for certain things.
I do too.
I mean, they're there. Why not use them, right?
The sweet onions, and I'll have to tell you, Walla Walla sweets are really good onions.
Very good. Okay, so we have a delicious recipe for you. A nice spinach, tomato.
Fresh.
Don't forget we used the Roma tomato. And why the Roma tomatoes?
I like the Roma tomatoes in this type of salad because they're heartier and they don't have as much, you know, seeds and all in them, and they just seem to hold up better. You could use whatever you want, but I do love Romas.
Very nice. And you know what? We eat with our eyes. Whatever looks good, that's what we're gonna try.
Exactly.
You know? So
let's put some of that dressing over it.
Oh, put it in there right now.
Put it in there.
Now this is the marinade that we just made.
This is the one that we just made, the creamy Italian or marinade. And we're just gonna marinate the salad a little bit. All these fresh, wonderful, oh, look at that. Perfect.
Oh, very good.
And I don't, yeah, you can use that.
Should we toss it some more?
Sure, let's toss it a little bit more.
Okay.
And then we'll put it in our bowl. And, you know, your company, your guests that are coming over and your family are going to be really impressed when they see this wonderful salad, and you're going to get them to eat more of the raw foods.
That's right. That's right. Well, sometimes when we think about raw foods, we think no flavor.
Sure.
And that we go back to what I mentioned before. Vegetarianism doesn't have to be boring. It doesn't have to be bland.
No.
Let's just, take a risk and play with seasoning, play with ingredients, and just share your recipes. Talk about it with other people in your denomination, in your church, in the family even. Just call Melody and talk
Call
with her.
me, absolutely. Yeah. I've been known to talk going down, I don't drive.
We've talked on the phone for a while.
We have, driving down the road. I'm usually the passenger on my computer while my husband's driving. Thank God for my husband. My husband has been, he is a godsend because he puts a lot of miles on our vehicle, and the sad thing about it is while he's driving, I'm usually either on the phone, on the computer, or sleeping.
Well, you know what? That's multitasking.
It is.
All of those things need to get done.
Yes.
You need some sleeping.
And sometimes rest. I'll just wake up and say, honey, are you going the right way? It's like, now's a fine time. We've gone 1,000 miles.
Exactly. Well, you've been asleep most of the way.
Is that not beautiful?
It's gorgeous. It is gorgeous. So, like I said, you can go, and sometimes we don't know what to make. And just a simple brand new dish will encourage you to make a recipe. I'm a dish person. I love dishes. So if you're in a garage sale, yard sale, whatever, wherever, Dillard's or wherever it may be, you can just get a nice dish, and believe me, you're going to want to use that dish. Well, stand by because we have some contact information for you and more. So we'll be right back.
If you would like to contact Melody to invite her to your church, then you can write to Your Healthy Helper, 1425 Apple Valley Drive, Howard, Ohio 43028. That's Your Healthy Helper, 1425 Apple Valley Drive, Howard, Ohio 43028. You can call 740-398-6491. That's 740-398-6491. You can also email her at yourhealthyhelper@yahoo.com. It's all one word, yourhealthyhelper@yahoo.com. Contact her today. She'd love to hear from you.
Hello, I'm Carrie Christian, and today we're thrilled to bring you the latest report on our work in Russia. Here's Julia Utkina to tell us more.
To reach different categories of people with the good news of salvation in Jesus Christ, 3abn Russia produces a lot of Bible-based programs. These are programs for adults, youth and children, devoted to studying the Bible doctrines, human relations, parenting, health and many other issues. We have 90 TV series, 41 of which continue to be produced. They are aired on our 24-hour internet channel and broadcast on 91 stations and 4 satellite channels. Today we are reporting to you, our dear viewers, on the 8 new series of programs that have come on the air in year 2010. Creationism is quite a new concept to Russian mentality, formed by 70+ years of extensive teaching of evolution. For those who look for scientific facts to build their faith, we have developed a series on creation called Mystery of Life, hosted by Christian scholars and theologians. For people whose hearts are easier to reach by poetry, we have developed a new series, The Chorus of the Living Words, where a beautiful recitation of the well-known poets who believed in God is accomplished by guitar music. Programs about character, personality and relations always arouse special interest. New programs, My Character and Me, and Male and Female, He Created Them, present Bible perspective of the above issues. Series The Gospel of the Going is based on the Gospel of John and is designated for men. The author's message is that each man who decides to follow Christ becomes a going instead of an idly standing person. The program offers a book of the same name, a daily reading for men, which has been designed by our publishing department. For young people, peers are often the greatest authority. In the new youth program, Parables of a Prodigal Son, our heroes, young people, talk about their way to the Heavenly Father, about failures and victories on this way. Meeting face-to-face in Zaoksky are testimonies of the students from Zaoksky Theological Seminary who have dedicated their lives to serving God and people. In each program, we discuss a new topic, raise another issue, or give practical recommendations. But most importantly, through all of our programs, we bring a life-changing message of hope and salvation, which becomes possible only through your support of 3ABN. Thank you very much for your love for Jesus' cause on earth, for your sacrificial spirit and dedication to the ministry of 3ABN.
Thank you, Julia. If you haven't considered supporting 3ABN, won't you do so today? Just send your tax-deductible gifts to 3ABN, Post Office Box 220, West Frankfort, Illinois, 62896, and thank you from the bottom of our hearts.
Well, friends, if you weren't able to write down all the information, just call us here at 3ABN. We'll be happy to give you the information to contact Melody Prettyman so she can come to your local churches. We're going to go ahead and show you the menu for today. Melody, what did we prepare?
Well, first we prepared the perfect pesto, and we put it over some rice pasta.
That's right.
And then we had the fresh marinara. Oh,
delicious.
It's very good. And then we prepared the
Alfredo sauce.
Creamy Alfredo sauce.
That's right.
Yes, on any pasta as well. And then the awesome mushrooms.
Yes. Your husband and I will be fighting over those.
Yes. And then after we prepared those mushrooms, we did the salad dressing.
Yes.
Which is also a marinara. And then we put it on the fresh cucumber salad with tomatoes that we did here. Oh, yes, so good.
God is so good, and it is awesome to know that the people that are suffering of these allergies have a choice, such as a personal pan pizza.
Such as this pizza, and such as this French bread that you can buy with D-Land Bakery. And I mean, this is a company that is totally gluten-free. As of February 1st, everything that you purchase there will be gluten-free. And just like these wonderful flatbreads, I slice them in half, and I have a personal pizza.
That's right.
So you can have the best of everything, even though you suffer from these diseases. You know, your family is able to have wonderful pastas, breads. You do not have to do without, and they're very, very healthy.
Amen.
There's no oil. I mean, it's amazing how this is quite a ministry for this family down at D-Land.
Very good, very good. Melody, thanks a lot. Thank you for being with us. I hope you let us know how you enjoy the recipes at home. We here will enjoy it as we share the table now, these foods. But God bless you, and God bless your efforts in cooking healthy.